Good afternoon, Highlands, and welcome to another edition of the Highlander News.
Broadcasting live from the Highlands News Studio in Fort Thomas, Kentucky.
I'm Ben Rosensteel.
And I'm Kat Vincent.
Driving out on the road is exciting, but it isn't something to take lightly. Not all trips are smooth sailing, so Josh has more on what to do if your car battery dies.
Owning a vehicle can be wonderful. However, with the luxury of quick transportation comes basic maintenance issues. In our second installment of our three-part vehicle maintenance series, we will be going over how to jumpstart your car. If you or your friend's battery has died, knowing how to jumpstart a car can help you for this tough situation.
Thanks, Josh. I'll be sure to remember that next time my car needs a quick jump start.
Speaking of jump starts, Donald Trump has a new plan that he hopes will keep the economy growing.
He has signed a 25% tariff on steel and a 10% tariff on aluminum. However, this policy is at odds with traditional Republican values of free trade. It will likely harm the U.S. industry by raising prices for consumers, and it could spark a trade war that could cause a global economic recession.
Many supporters argue that the president's plan is an important first step in Trump's America First philosophy.
Thanks, Kat. Nothing with the economy is ever as it seems, so be sure to keep a close eye out for any new developments. But in the meantime, if you could go for some home-style pizza, sandwiches, or salads, be sure to stop by the Fort Thomas Public House for their first grand opening. Nevaeh has more.
We've always talked about opening a restaurant.
Jenny Meyer, the new owner of Fort Thomas Public House, formerly known as 15 North, is finally fulfilling her dream of opening a restaurant. We sat down with her to find out more.
We're hoping to open full-time in March. We're just waiting on a few things right now, like our liquor license, and we're getting a new oven, small oven, to cook other things that don't cook well in the wood-fired oven. We'll look to hire some high school students. Just kind of depends on the position. A lot of our employees will have to be at least 20 years old, as we serve alcohol, and that's the age limit for that. We are looking forward to warmer weather and being able to open the patio, having live entertainment. We're serving a lot of different things, flatbreads, pizzas, salads, sandwiches, do some specials daily. My husband loves to cook, and we'll come up with things occasionally that are not on the menu all the time. We love this part of town that the restaurant is in. We like that you're able to walk uptown. You can go on your way to games at the high school, the middle school, and we think that the community needs a restaurant in this area.
After the series of restaurants that have passed through this building before, we hope to see that Fort Thomas Public House is here to stay.
Thanks. I'm super excited to stop by the Fort Thomas Public House as soon as it opens. I think it'll be a great addition to the community, especially as the weather improves. And with spring on the way, the sports teams are getting into the heart of their seasons. What can you tell us, Jack?
Thanks, Ben. Winter sports are coming down to their final weeks, meaning spring sports are right around the corner. The boys' basketball season came to a conclusion on February 21st with a loss against Newport Central Catholic. The team concluded the season with a final record of 13 wins and 15 losses. Congratulations, boys, on an excellent season. The girls' basketball season also came to a conclusion on February 26th with a loss against Connor. The team concluded their season with a final record of 24 wins and 8 losses. Great job, girls, on an excellent season. As for the swimming and diving teams, the boys' swimming team placed third, their highest team finish since 1995. The girls' swimming team finished 20th overall. The combined swimming team also achieved its goal of placing in the top 10 by finishing 6th overall, which is the highest the team combined has finished at state since 2008. Senior Garrison Herfel and junior Brendan Conley placed in the top 8 in all 4 of their events. Garrison set 2 school records in the 50 free and 100 free and was named second team All-State. Sophomore swimmer Caroline Sand placed in the top 8 in both of her individual events. As for diving, sophomore Finn Murphy was named first team All-State and was the 2018 Kentucky Boys State Diving Champion. Congratulations to all of our swimmers and divers on a successful year. The dance team competed at Nationals 2 weeks ago. They made it to the finals in both pom and hip hop and placed 14th out of 33 for pom and 3rd out of 22 for hip hop, the highest they have ever placed. Congrats, girls, on an excellent season. The archery team qualified for the state competition on March 30th in Louisville. The top 15 archers from Highlands will be traveling down to compete. Good luck, archery team at state. Both the boys and girls track and field teams have high expectations for their upcoming seasons. The girls team is being led by seniors Sophie Stepp, Carson Hunter, Natalie Worley, and Mary Claire Redden. The boys team is led by seniors Nick Veneman, Cole Kendall, Michael Dunn, and Tony DeRosa. Both teams have high expectations for their season and hope to have many athletes compete at state. The girls' tennis team is much larger than it's been in the past years, with around 30 girls combined on both JV and varsity. The prediction for the girls' team is to make it a good run at state and hopefully that some players will qualify at state. Some of the big matches this year include Notre Dame, as well as Campbell County High School, Connor, and Mason County. The boys' tennis team has 20 players, 9 of them returning from last year. The big matchups this year are against Campbell County, who are the regional title contenders, and Covcath, who are consistently a top team in the region. The team's goal for the season is to win the regional tournament. The softball and baseball seasons are close to beginning. Both teams have wrapped up their tryouts. The softball team's first game is on the 20th against Campbell County, and the baseball season begins on the 21st with a home game against Campbell County. With your sports recap, I'm Jack Schultz. Kat?
Thanks, Jack. I wish the teams all the best of luck as they head into the season.
For many students, myself included, graduation is fast approaching and the great beyond is not far behind. College and jobs have never seemed more important, and if you have no clue on what to do, maybe there's a future for you in the film industry. Let's take a closer look at some job opportunities from the set of the upcoming movie Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile.
In this part of the series, we are going to delve into all of the different jobs on the movie set, from a key grip to an Oscar award-winning producer. In this part, we grabbed a bunch of interviews to figure out all the work that goes in behind the scenes.
I'm in charge of the art department, paint, construction, graphics. We have to basically make all these different spaces, whether it's a spaceship, to a courtroom, to a police station, or whatever, look like they built it for real. What we do is develop a whole bunch of kind of techniques to make them look like the real thing. It's kind of a lot of, my end of things is a little similar to theater design.
You know, we do the motion of the camera, so we have the dollies, the camera cranes, and all that stuff. So my job is to manage all that and know what needs to be done to make it happen.
I specifically find cars and do modifications for the movie industry. I've done 7 films here in Kentucky and Ohio last year. On this film, we have 170 period cars, averaging from everyday mom and pop cars to some of the baddest cars in the world. For every one car that I pick, there's 100 that doesn't get picked. So that being said, you know, it's really specific to each director and every producer. On average, I do 8 hours of paperwork a day. Everybody thinks I just get to play with awesome cars, but I promise that's not the case.
Producers obviously do a variety of different things, but my job in working with Zach is to come in at various stages. Sometimes when an idea is formed, sometimes when a script exists, like this one, we kind of oversee the entire process, help hire all the department heads. So it's it's the only job I think that goes from the very, very beginning till the movie's on the screen.
So you just deal with problems, you know, it's like, oh, somebody is late, or we lost a location, or that scene didn't work, and you try to find solutions. The biggest thing is actually the thing that nobody ever thinks is time. Time is money when you have 100 people that are being paid by the hour. So it's like, how do you finish the scene, get the best shot, get the emotion, and keep moving.
I think problem solving is the key to our job. Preparation and then problem solving, because you can't play catch up. There's too much stuff and too little time once we start. If we're not prepared, the best you can do is salvage a disaster. The script that you've been working on for 6 months or a year, yeah, it takes life. Like, that is magical. And this is what we get to do for a job. I mean, I try to remind myself that like once a day.
If you're interested in learning more about any of these different careers, go to the HHS Broadcasting YouTube channel, where you can watch the full, unedited interviews.
Be sure to tune in for the final installment of this series coming soon in the future. A few weeks ago, the We the People team took the championship title at their state competition. And in April, the team will travel to Washington, D.C. to compete in the national championship. Elizabeth sat down with a few of the students to learn more about this unique class.
We the People, it's a government course that's based predominantly on the Constitution itself. Basically, you just read through the Constitution at the beginning of the school year and get familiar with it.
Each group has a different topic based on the Constitution and like government and everything. And then at the beginning of the year, we get questions for state. We got 3 questions originally, and we just write a 4-minute opening statement to answer the question. And then in the competition, we have 6 minutes of follow-up after that.
It's a lot different than any other class I've taken because we don't have any quizzes or tests regularly. We're always just working on improving our opening statements and our content that we know about our nationals questions or state questions right now. And I feel like it's a lot more laid back and fun overall. We really have a good time.
I like this class a lot because it's a lot of like collaboration and we're all like a whole class of just people who are passionate about the same thing, who are interested in government and all of the like current events and everything that goes into it.
I would suggest other people to take this class because one, you get to learn about the Constitution, and that's something that you've always heard of, but you're not really familiar with until you really actually read it.
I would recommend taking We the People because it's definitely a way to improve a lot of your skills, like your knowledge of current events, government, like politics, all that, as well as your public speaking skills, thinking on your feet. And it also helps a lot with group work, obviously, and just working on a deadline and doing it well.
I wish the team good luck as they head to nationals.
On March 14th, many students participated in the national walkout in support for the victims at the Parkland shooting in Florida. We stood together in solidarity and in the hopes to show legislators that we need some change. And while we may not all agree on what needs to be done, it is important that we all work together as a school, as a community, and as a country. In doing so, we can honor those that have lost their lives due to violence. This was a solemn event, but I believe that we should look for happiness where it's hard to find, and standing for those whom we never knew is a hopeful reminder that evil can be conquered by happiness and with love, and that violence can come to an end. We hope to bring a more in-depth video highlighting this important event in our society. But that's it for this edition of the Highlander News. I'm Ben Rosenstiel.
And I'm Kat Finsett. Have an awesome weekend, Highlands.